Hey, I believe I'm live. It said there's some kind of an error, so I'm going to try to fix that. I don't know what it is. I don't know what the problem is. So, oh, I see what the problem is. Okay, it's fine. It's not a big deal. It doesn't matter. Okay. The only problem is that the live stream is not being recorded, which I don't care about. Oh my gosh, there's a lot of people here. Jeez, already. Okay, so I'm really doing this because I want to hear from you guys. I want to hear what your perspective is on this. This is obviously horrific. You know, this is like, you know, it seems almost like the end of America, right? Like, since when, or it's so weird, right? Because they're just like, oh, when Trump gets into office, you know, he's going to put all the Democrats in prison, and, you know, he's going to be this evil authoritarian dictator. And now look what they're doing. They're raiding the home of political opponents, the former president of the United States of America. Because why? Because political crap. You guys hear me? Ah, shit, mic's off. Okay. All right, mic is off. Gonna fix it. All right, hello.
All right, how about now? There we go. All right, is that better? I can hear you. Main mic is off. All right, because I had the wrong mic on. My mistake. I haven't gone live in a long time, guys. All right, we're waiting for the room to fill up here. There we go. Much better. Okay, sorry about that. I'm pissed off. All right, I'm pissed off. I'm all emotional. I'm like a 12-year-old girl who just got broken up with. So upset. Seriously though, I'm emotional. I'm pissed off. Like, this is crazy to me. Like, America should not be like this. Right. Okay, so let me just read the story. There's enough people in here. I'll go ahead and read the story from what is it? New York Post is a good one. Let's see here. All right, FBI raided Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida and broke into a safe in his palatial home, the former president confirmed Monday. Trump said in a message on his social media forum, Truth Social, that his home had been raided and occupied and was currently under siege due to what he claimed was prosecutorial, whatever, you guys understand the words, misconduct. Nothing like this has ever happened. God, I feel like Joe Biden all of a sudden. Prosecutorial misconduct. Nothing like this has ever happened to a president of the United States before, Trump wrote. And see, that's the thing. That's exactly right. Nothing like this has ever happened before. You know why? Because it's insane. This is what you would do in an authoritarian dictatorship, like somewhere like Cuba, right? This is kind of like this is much more of an insurrection than January 6th was, I feel like. This seems to me like a moment in history. You know what I mean? This is why I want to give you guys a voice. But let me just read through this real quick. After working and cooperating with the relevant government agencies, this unannounced raid on my home was not necessary or appropriate. No, it was not. FBI agents were reportedly searching for classified documents that Trump brought with him from the White House to Mar-a-Lago after his presidency ended. The National Archives and Records Administration said that it found classified material in 15 boxes in the residence and alerted the FBI. FBI called the raid politically motivated by Democrats who don't want him to run again in 2024. That's exactly right. And, you know, this is the problem because you got this deep state situation where everybody's paying off their buddies, the money's flowing, everybody's happy, and then they're like, oh, this other guy came in who's not corrupt like the rest of us, right? He's going to mess up our whole system that we got going in here, stealing from the American people and paying everybody else off. So, you know, Trump put a stop to that for the most part, to some degree, when he was in office. They don't want him to put a stop to it again. The other thing that I think could be true, and again, a lot of this is going to be speculation today, guys. But another thing I think could be true is I think a lot of people in DC function in a kind of mutually assured destruction scenario where everybody's got dirt on everybody else, but nobody's got dirt on Donald Trump. And Donald Trump is so wealthy, he cannot be bribed. And so you got this situation where Donald Trump is the only clean person in DC. And they're like, we can't have a clean person in here because then if he finds some dirt on the rest of us, we're all effed. We have to keep Trump out of office. So they are desperate. That's the whole reason for the January 6th committee hearings. The whole reason, because not a lot of people know this. I've talked about this before on my channel. But one of the explicit consequences of being charged or being convicted of incitement of insurrection. That specific law, a very specific consequence of that very specific law is that you can never run for president. Coincidence? I think not. Of course, they're trying to frame him for this. So now, a big question I have, because to me, okay, now this seems crazy, right? A lot of people are going to think, well, they must have something on him, otherwise they wouldn't risk raiding Mar-a-Lago. That seems pretty crazy, right? But think about this. They spied on the Trump campaign, which is unbelievably illegal, right? They had no reason for it. That's been shown. And who got in trouble? Who got in trouble? One lawyer for the FBI that changed an email. He was thrown under the bus. He was the scapegoat. And guess how many days in prison he spent? I don't think he spent any. That guy got off scot-free. Not even their scapegoat was punished. These people have no concern that there will be any consequence for their corrupt actions. They do not care. Let's see here. I'll keep reading. It is prosecutorial misconduct, the weaponization of the justice system, and an attack by the radical left Democrats who desperately don't want me to run for president in 2024. He wrote, the raid comes as the Justice Department is examining the actions of Trump in its criminal investigation to overturn the blah, 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 blah. Yeah, give me a break. Anyway, it is kind of funny that this happened right after Christopher Wray testified, because obviously, for the January 6th committee, because obviously, Christopher Wray knows what's going on here. Is there any super chats or anything like this? Does anybody want to say anything about this? Because I am genuinely concerned. This is the problem, right? This is the problem. And this is why you should never let the police into your apartment or your house unless they have a warrant. Because are most cops good? Yeah, I probably. But are some cops corrupt? Absolutely. And so you do not want to give them an opportunity to plant evidence in your home. These guys got into Trump's home, right? Was evidence planted whilst they were there? Or I think they're still there. Is evidence being planted? I don't know. But it certainly is a possibility. You do not let, these people should not be in Trump's home. There is no reason for it. I am unaware of any reason that they have. Of course, a lot of people... All right, I'm just going to start reading off stuff that you guys are saying. This is scary AF, says I, Arthur. I agree. This is completely... Honestly, this is one of the most terrifying things I've ever seen happen in terms of our federal government doing something awful. Because we know they spied on Trump's campaign illegally. We also know that they are going after the January 6th protesters who did literally nothing wrong, who walked into the Capitol building. Oh, gosh, they walked around taking selfies. They're throwing the book at these guys. Why are they doing that? This is all political theater, right? They cannot have Trump run in 2024. So if they can make this big show of, January 6th was a big insurrection, it wasn't. But let's say they were able to convince the American people that it was an insurrection, okay? Then maybe they can convince the American people that what Trump said when he was, giving his speech just before the protest, somehow inspired that insurrection, right? Incited it, the incitement of insurrection. So that's the law. That's what they're trying to get him on so that he can't run for president in 2024. It doesn't look like that's going to work. In fact, and I just recorded a video about this that I was going to put out tomorrow morning, or maybe the next day, but Trump... According to Dinesh D'Souza just reported that Donald Trump is going to sue all of the news agencies and all the politicians who keep calling his claims of, the 2020 election not being perfect, the big lie. They keep calling it the big lie, right? Now, it can only be a lie if Trump believes that the election was perfect. And he is intentionally deceiving people by saying that the 2020 election was not perfect, right? But Trump doesn't believe that the election was perfect. He doesn't believe that. And the reporters know that he doesn't believe that. So calling it the big lie is in fact a lie. They are defaming Trump by saying that. It's slander and it's libel because they're saying it and they're posting it on their news sites and whatnot. So these guys can go down big time. In fact, the whole video, this is going to be a spoiler alert, but my video that's coming out is called, Is Donald Trump Going to Bankrupt CNN? Because CNN's already on the ropes. If Donald Trump is able to get a massive lawsuit from these guys, they might be done, right? And he could potentially sue all of these politicians, who keep calling it the big lie. But here's the thing. It's critical for them to continue to call it the big lie, because if they don't call it the big lie, then they can't get Trump on intentionally inciting an insurrection. And so they have to call it the big lie. So if Trump wins a lawsuit, which it looks like he very well could, then it would indicate that, in fact, he did not incite an insurrection, and he could then, again, run for president in 2024. All right, Mike Homcho has provided a super chat here of $1.99, and he writes, Republican states need to leave the U.S. over this. Like form our own country, like split off, civil war. That's pretty intense, but I think there's a lot of people that might agree with you. Dashcam Sam, super chat, $4.99. Thank you so much, Dashcam Sam. He writes, if you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you could possibly imagine. Obi-Wan Kenobi. Gosh, I hope that's true. So far, a lot of the nasty stuff that they've done has not made us more powerful than they could possibly imagine. But I certainly hope that there comes a point when all this becomes so much that the American people cannot take it anymore, and they just had enough, and they say no more of this. I think one of the reasons why they're being so aggressive, being so obviously corrupt now, going in and raiding Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago home, is they don't have that much time left. 2022 is it. They're all going down, and by the end of this year, the Democrats are going to be out of power. How do you deal with that? I think this might be a way. Mad World writes, just called FBI, told them off. They hung up on me. Did you actually do that? I love that. Mad World. Okay, mad props, Mad World. I don't know what the phone... You want to put the phone number of the FBI on here, I'll say it on here, and people can call it. Let's see here. Megan Lukes, $1.99 writes, China would love it if the U.S. splits up. That's true. Yeah, I'm not going to advocate civil war or anything like that, or revolution. I'm not going to advocate any of that kind of stuff. But I will say that there are a lot of people who are out there who do want that, which is a shame, because I do think that the Union can still be saved. But this is a bridge too far, guys. This is nuts. You do not go after political enemies just because they're your political enemies in America. This has never happened. This is the most corrupt thing I could possibly imagine. The only thing that would be worse is if they arrested Trump and put him in some kind of black ops site or something. What do they call it? They don't call it black ops site. What do they call it? Black site. Why do I call it black ops site? It's a little Joe Biden gaffe there for you, folks. Bryce Harper, how can this get any worse? What is next? Yeah, like I just said, if they had taken Trump to a black site, that's probably worse, right? That's the only thing that could be worse. And they've actually arrested some of Trump's guys. They do arrest these guys. They do prosecute them. They do have a kangaroo trial, a kangaroo court, right? Show trial. And then they put these guys in prison. It's ridiculous. It's weird, because I got on here to rant a little bit and to read what you guys have to say, but it is such an emotional thing because I do care about this country so much. Let's see here. Crypto the Dog gave us $20. Thank you, Crypto the Dog. He says, thanks for going live so quickly. This is just insane. Well, yeah, that's the thing. I don't really like doing live shows. Obviously, I don't do them very often. But this is such an important thing. I wanted you guys to have an opportunity to say what you guys want to say here. Dan McMullen, $5. He says, the majority of Americans don't like this kind of conduct. If the elections aren't rigged in November, this move will just add to the Democrats' loss. I certainly hope that you're right, because this is unbelievably corrupt. Obviously, CNN, obviously MSNBC, all these networks, they're going to try to spin it in a way to suggest that, oh, no, this is totally justified, and Trump deserved to be raided and all this kind of stuff. So we'll see who wins hearts and minds with their story. I don't see how they can spin this in a way that's convincing. A lot of times Democrats overestimate their ability to express certain ideas. Like, I was on Gorka today, and I think this is going, I don't know when his show's going out, but maybe I'm competing with myself right now. I don't know. But I was just on Gorka today, and we're talking about how the entire communications department at the Biden administration, they're just all quitting, right? And it's because how the heck do you communicate the kind of gobbledygook that Biden is doing, the kind of craziness that the Biden administration is doing? You can't spin that in a positive way. Okay, Christy Turley writes, Mr. Reagan, it is curtains for the Democrats. All they did this entire presidency was try and dismantle Donald Trump. We all must stand up. I mean, that's exactly right. I mean, there was something in the 2020 election that, going up and going in the days when we were getting close to the actual election day, right? In the few weeks closing in on election day, that made me think for sure there is no way that Trump's going to lose. And it's what we call the enthusiasm gap, right? Nobody was enthusiastic for Biden. Everybody was enthusiastic for Trump, right? Every conservative was enthusiastic for Trump. No Democrat was enthusiastic for Biden. In fact, I went and I did interviews. I talked to people and I said, will you vote for Biden if you have something better to do that day? And just about everybody went, no, probably not. So I thought, well, if people aren't going to take a second to fill out a mail-in ballot because they got something better to do, how could Joe Biden possibly win? Okay, and yet he won magically, all right? So I think the same thing is going to be true again in 2024, but I think it's going to be a lot worse. I think it's not just going to be an enthusiasm gap like we saw in 2020. I think it's going to be so strong that no amount of imperfect electioneering could possibly win it for the Democrats. I think that Trump is a shoo-in in 2024. I think they know that, and that's why they're doing this raid. Sean Young writes, $2. Thank you, Sean Young. He writes, when will the Democrats stop? You know, it's crazy. I think that they've gotten so far into crazy land, right? So I always say that, especially Democrat voters. Oh, wow, Dean Drake. Thank you, man. I always say that Democrat voters are not necessarily bad people. They just have a misperception of the world, or a series of misperceptions of the world, right? So like I always say that if you're like a strong racist and you think black people are inferior, you have a misperception of the world, right? Obviously not all black people are inferior. If you've ever seen anything by Thomas Sowell, you know some black people are amazing. So this idea that you would be a white supremacist, just to me, that's a misperception of the world. And I think, and those people I don't really consider to be conservatives, Klan members, and so I don't consider them conservatives in the traditional sense, or Republicans really even. But the entire Democrat Party, their entire platform is based on misperceptions of reality. Oh, obesity is healthy. No, it isn't. It is not healthy. No, of course you shouldn't hate somebody because they're obese. My grandmother was obese. My brother's obese. I don't hate these people, okay? You shouldn't be fat phobic or whatever. But you certainly shouldn't say that obesity is healthy, right? A man can be a woman just by putting on lipstick and saying, I'm a woman. No, we can't. The Democrat vision of the world is based on total misperceptions. All right, Dean Drake gave us $100. Thank you, Dean Drake. That is very generous. And he writes, Carrie Lake's election, I think they were trying to pull fraud too. Carrie Lake's election. I'm not even aware of Carrie Lake's election, but thank you for bringing that to our attention, my friend. I'm going to look that up right now, because why not? Anyway, if you're just here now, we're talking about the FBI raid on Mar-a-Lago and how it is, this unprecedented move by Democrats to essentially turn our country into a fascist dictatorship. I mean, you do not attack political opponents in this way, using the police essentially to go after your political opponents, which is all they're doing. Oh, Carrie Lake. This is for Arizona governor. Oh, you think so? You think so? Well, Arizona was one of those states in which they thought shenanigans were occurring pretty severely, right? So there's probably some kind of a machine in Arizona that facilitates this facilitates, let's call them shenanigans, tomfoolery, if you will. And so, Dean, man, I'm right there with you. I think almost for sure that's true. I don't have evidence for anything, so everything that I'm talking about right now is speculation. And, of course, no election in America has ever been fraudulent. Everything is perfect. It's all perfect. That's for the YouTube overlords. Okay, Sparky, $1.99. Thank you, man. Dave Jag 33 writes, he gave me $20 just so he could say, "Let's go, Brandon." I'll give you guys a little another little spoiler alert. I'm doing a video. I'm going to post a video here in the next couple of days about the new Grand Theft Auto game. And Grand Theft Auto, you play a criminal and everything. They're trying to wokeify Grand Theft Auto. And so at the end of that video, I have a little moment where I'm giving all these suggestions of what they should do to keep the game edgy and cool. And at the end, I say they should name the protagonist Brandon, and throughout the game, you should meet people who are cheering for him. And then I close off my video by going, "Let's go, Brandon." And that's the end of the video. I thought it was kind of clever, kind of funny. Let's see here. Frank James writes, "What? Reagan's doing lives again?" Yeah, I don't like to go live. But you know what? Today I'm going live because today's a crazy day. You know, it's not every day that the one political party just does something that's absolutely obviously corrupt. And I've said a lot of what I think about it. I want to hear what you guys think about it. Mad World gave me $10. He also writes, "Let's go, Brandon." It's just let's just keep saying it throughout the video here. Legalize Adulthood gave me $25, and they've written, "Super Chat Cherry. It was great meeting you at the Nerdrotic meetup in Las Vegas last year. Will you be going again this year?" You know what? That's great. I don't know who you are, but I did meet several people at that meetup with Nerdrotic. I've been asked to go again by my friend who originally invited me. I wasn't going to, but you know what? Maybe I will, because I need to go talk to Gary, because I want to start doing some of his live streams, because I do like talking about popular culture, but I don't feel like I can do it as much on this show unless it's really, really relevant to politics, and sometimes it isn't that relevant to politics, and I still want to talk about it. Because you know what? I don't like that they stopped making Superman nerdy. Superman was nerdy in the comic books. He was nerdy in the original films, in the early 80s. And then Dean Cain came along, and he was just so damn charismatic that Clark Kent became charming, and that was not a strong enough distinction between Superman and Clark Kent. So, see, I like talking about that kind of stuff. I want Clark Kent to be nerdy again. Yeah, that's a weird subject. It has nothing to do with politics, but it's something I want to talk about. I want to talk about stuff like that, and so I'd like to get on Gary's show there at Nerdrotic. I watch the show. I love that stuff. All right, Goddess of Truth writes, "What's the current punishment for treason or sedition? Is it currently the death penalty, or is it life in Gitmo?" Now, here's the thing about treason. Treason is actually not against the law in America. There is no law about treason. I think there's something like conspiracy to commit treason with like other countries or something like that. But the reason that they didn't allow treason to be something that exists in the Constitution as a law, which I agree with actually, is that previous to the founding of the United States of America, acts of treason, the concept of the act of treason, the laws against treason in the UK, in England at the time, were used to punish political opponents, right? So it's kind of what they're doing right now, right? So they would say, "Oh, Donald Trump committed treason, and therefore we've got to execute him," right? And that's kind of what the Democrats are doing right now. They're just not murdering him yet. Yeah, that would be worse. I guess putting him in a black site would be worse, and then the absolute worst thing would just be executing him. But I could see the Democrats doing that for sure. The only reason I think that they haven't done that yet is because it would be too damaging to the party. I think that it would mess them up. Dean Drake gave me $5 and he says, "Let's go, Brandon," yet again. Legalize Adulthood, right? "I met you in the parking lot before." Oh yeah, man. This guy recognized me. I had these big old sunglasses on. I don't have them right here, but I had these big old sunglasses on, and I thought I looked totally different than I look on my show. And the guy's just like, "Mr. Reagan." He's just like, Reagan. Oh, it's good to see you, man. It's good to see you. Poopa Chalupa writes, "Need to join the EFAP." I don't know what that means. Dean Drake, thanks for the $5 again. Let's see here. Tom Christopoulos, I know you. He writes, "The FBI agents there." The FBI agents drove there in a CNN van. It would be way cool if Trump knew this was going to happen and he stuffed the 15 boxes full of Let's go, Brandon Flyers. Thanks for the live, and Mom says hello. Cheers. That's great. Hi, Mom. Let's see here. Did they actually drive there in a CNN van, or are you just joking? Was CNN tipped off again like they were with Roger Stone? That would that would not surprise me in the slightest. Sean Young writes, need to get rid of the idiots who think they are above the law. Let's go, Brandon. Yeah, I mean, if this is not a wake-up call to America to get rid of the Democrats, I don't know what is. I mean, this is, we've got our marching orders, guys. We got to make sure that these guys get out of office all over the country and in local elections as well. Let's see here. John Phoenix writes, this is unacceptable when we stand, when will we stand up to the tyranny, the tyranny? When will we stand up against the tyranny, he's saying, John Phoenix. Yeah, it's the question is how exactly, because you will get kind of radical people that talk about, revolution and stuff like that. I don't, obviously I don't think that that's the answer. But I do think that we've got to find a way to get all the Democrats out of office, even people, people that are very powerful like Pelosi. We've got to find a way to get her out of office because, you guys heard what she did just recently with the insider trading. I mean, she's constantly insider trading. She's just basically stealing money. She's just using her position to enrich herself. That's the only reason she's in office. She doesn't care about LGBT people or gay or black people or any of the folks that she pretends she cares. She doesn't care about the environment. She cares about getting rich. I hate Nancy Pelosi. Nancy Pelosi is the Democrat I hate the most. I'm not even sure why, because there's other ones that are just as corrupt. Like Biden's obviously incredibly corrupt, but I hate Nancy Pelosi. Let's see here. Legalize adulthood. Good to see you again. He writes, let's go, Brandon. Gives me $25. Thanks, man. Thanks so much. Let's see here. Oh my goodness. We got quite a few here. Mad World writes, how do you fight the FBI when they have all the power? Who oversees them? Please call them and let them know they are butt pirates. Please let them know that. Okay, I'm going to tell you what. I actually kind of have a plan for this because I have a buddy who's ex-FBI. Good man. I need to respond to his text. He's texted me a few times. I forgot. But once we get Trump back in office, we get some guys like my buddy to go to the FBI, to go to the administrative floor. There's a floor for the administration. And we just go in and we fire everybody. And we bring in guys who are true patriots and truly care about this country. That's how you fix that. A lot of people are like, just get rid of the FBI. I don't think so. I think you just completely strip out the administration. Dave Jag 33 writes, I got hairy legs that turn blonde in the sun. Dude, don't do that to me. That's too funny. And I like it when kids sit on my lap. Oh man, if I ever run for office, that's going in going in an ad against me for sure. Let's see here. Anon Emis writes, gives me $20. Thanks, man. He writes, cowardice and capitulation never goes unpunished, LOL. Yeah, that's the problem. It often does. Let's see here. Elections have consequences, even the fraudulent ones. Enjoy your communist hellscape. You earned every minute of it. I mean, I agree with you, man. I mean, we're living in... this is legit a dystopia at this point. I mean, quality of life isn't that bad in America, but I'll tell you why it's not that bad. It's not because the Biden administration hasn't done its best to absolutely obliterate quality of life in America. The reason quality of life is so high is just because it's 2022. We've had so much technology. We've had so long to improve quality of life that now a severe drop in quality of life, we're still pretty good. Like life is still pretty decent for most Americans. But there is a point in which it will drop further and life will not be so good. I have a zombie apocalypse plan, and we say zombie apocalypse, but what we really mean is the Democrat dystopia. Let's see here. John Phoenix writes, gives me $5. Thanks, man. And he writes, can Trump really win in 2024 with everything that happened? I hope he does, but well, see, that's the thing. I'm sure that shenanigans will ensue. I'm sure there will be tomfoolery in 2024. But it is my hope and my belief that we'll have so many eyes on it that it won't be that extensive. And there will be so much passion to get the Democrats out of office that they will not be able to win, even using the full force of all of their shenanigans. Let's see here. Renee Miette gives me $4.99 and says, "The Tree of Liberty is thirsty AF." I'm thirsty AF. This is Coke Zero. A lot of people will tell you that this causes cancer. I don't believe so. But I do think it's good if you want to lose fat. Okay, let's see here. God's Enough for Me gave me $10, and they write, "Time to get." Okay, I can't say that on here. "Thanks, Mr. Reagan, for all you do." Thank you. Well, this person is sort of calling for a revolution, and I you can read it in the comment section yourself. But yeah, that's not something that I can get behind. But I understand the passion. I understand the sentiment there for sure. I am unbelievably pissed off today. Peter Paul writes, "Who is this host? My name is Mr. Reagan. I became a little bit famous for a video called The Brains Behind AOC. Check that out." All right, Joseph Ryan writes, "Trump is calling Corn Pop on his bat phone right now." I don't even understand that comment, but it's still funny. Let's see here. I think that's all the super chats that we've got. I'll try to read some of the other ones. Exile Sky writes, "Apply to count votes, be the ethical change you want to see." That's actually a huge problem. I've heard that it's next to impossible to be a vote counter in some areas, especially like Democrat states like California, because they will handpick their vote counters and they'll be all like left-wing radical, like Antifa type. So they'll just basically do whatever they say. I don't know how true that is, but that's the rumor that I've heard. Kenny Renfro suggests that we fix 2020 or it's all over. I mean, that's the idea. That would be ideal, but I'm not sure that that's at all possible. I'm still looking at some comments here. Yeah. Look Inverted writes, "Anything, I guess. He says, let's hope he's as clean as the Mueller investigation found. Problem being, as I had suggested, they could plant evidence." So that's, yeah. So look, this is just stuff we're speculating about. We're talking about. These are just ideas out. This is not news. I'm not saying that the FBI is doing anything, but what I'm saying is, as I said at the top of the show, you should never let the police inside your apartment or your house, because even though most cops, I think, are good people, there are a few that are corrupt. And if you allow a police officer into your apartment, there is a possibility they could plant evidence, or find something to somehow get you in trouble for, somehow like twist reality in such a way where you can get into trouble. So you should never, ever, ever allow the police inside your home, unless they have a warrant. Obviously, you can't stop them. But in this case, they had a warrant. They went into Mar-a-Lago. Once they're in your place, they can plant evidence. I'm not saying that that's what they're doing. I'm just saying that is a possibility. If there are any corrupt FBI agents in there, and I can't imagine that there are there's anyone corrupt in the FBI. But let's say in some fantasy world that there are a few corrupt FBI agents. It is not unreasonable to expect that it's possible that they could have planted evidence in there. And if that happens, you guys, I mean, the future does not look bright. Let's see here. Okay, I got a couple of super chats. Goddess of Truth writes, "My blade of democracy and freedom is thirsty, and I must sate it." I'm just going to assume that by blade, they're talking about, it's metaphorical, the metaphorical blade. Slayer Sigma Zeta writes, "Was watching the movie Lincoln. It's crazy that Democrats were calling Lincoln the exact same thing they call Trump now. Fascist, extremist, even insurrectionist. It's crazy. Watch that movie again." Yeah. This stuff does repeat itself constantly. You constantly see this repeated through time. Democrats have been saying this stuff. There's a TV broadcast of, what was the show called? Firing Line. And this Firing Line episode, by the way, Firing Line, the old episodes with, what's his name? Anyways, one of the best shows ever. You can find episodes of Firing Line on YouTube. Amazing. Anyway, there's an old episode with Thomas Sowell. I think this is in the 1980s, early 80s, something like that. And this Thomas Sowell episode of Firing Line is fantastic because he's just going through all the same feminist crap that we hear today. He's going through the same race-baiting crap that you hear today, and he's just debunking it. He's just destroying it, dismantling it. Like, he's fantastic. And what was really astonishing to me is, like, it's all the same stuff that we hear from the left today. Exactly the same stuff. It's just like they never stop lying, and it's exactly the same stuff. It's crazy. Michael Laporte says it might be time. Yeah. I mean, I'm not going to get behind that, guys, but I understand. I understand why you would say that. God is enough for me, $2. Writes, it's funny how monkeypox is not racist. It's just homophobic. I had a joke. I was going to do this. I never did it, but I had this joke for the monkeypox thing because there were, I was going to Photoshop on a surgical mask onto some guy's like genitals. I was going to get like an underwear model and be like, this is the CDC's recommendation to stop the spread of monkeypox. But I couldn't bring myself to Photoshop an underwear model. Obviously it would be a male model. It's just kind of an icky thing to do. So I never did it, but I was going to post that to Twitter. Let's see here. Mark Volker gave me $10 and he writes, the time to water that tree is almost upon us. Have courage. That is I don't want to comment on that, but again, I completely understand the frustration. Look, you cannot allow a political party to just go after their political opponents using the force of, the threat of violence. Those FBI agents that went into Mar-a-Lago, they were not unarmed, right? They had guns. What's really crazy is you got all these Democrats going, oh, let's defund the police. Let's bring in social workers to deal with these gangbangers and things like that so that, we won't escalate anything and these poor black men won't die. But then, of course, they bring the full force of the FBI with, I'm assuming, assault rifles, as they call them, into Mar-a-Lago in order to gather evidence against Donald Trump that they have no reason to believe actually exists. They just drummed up this nonsense. I think it's a frame-up. That's what I think. I think this is a frame-up. I think they're going to plant evidence. That's what I expect. Are they doing it? I don't know. I don't have any evidence of that. This is total speculation, but that's what I think that they're going to do. That's what I'm terrified of right now. Let's see here. Hell Radio Lives, or Hell Radio Lives, I guess, writes, thoughts on 1-6 wag the dog scenario for Ashley B. Okay. I've done a lot of videos on January 6th. It's a difficult thing to talk about without getting off YouTube, but I will say that I think we all know what happened on January 6th. There was no insurrection, and I think Nancy Pelosi had a lot to do with it. All right, let's see here. Chappie1436 writes, the problem is Dems keep getting away with the lie. They keep getting away with like 1,000 lies. It's infuriating. You know what it is? This is what I figured out a long time ago. Democrats are really good at manipulating the gullible half of America, right? There's a certain portion of Americans that are incredibly gullible. There's another fairly significant part of Americans that they just don't pay that much attention to the news. So if you can effectively characterize your enemy as a bigot, as a racist, as a sexist, everybody who wants to be a good person goes, oh, bigotry's bad, sexism is bad, racism is bad. The Democrats keep saying that the Republicans are racist and sexist. They must be bad, so the Democrats must be the good guys. I'll vote for the Democrats. That's as far as they think, I swear. That's it. That's as far as many Americans ever think about politics. Democrats like black people, and apparently Republicans don't, because Democrats keep saying that. So Republicans must be the bad guys. That's as far as they think. So Democrats have the very low information voters, and they have the extremely gullible voters. And a lot of it is targeted specifically to women. A lot of it is emotional stuff, right? Targeted specifically to women. Democrats are great at manipulating women. If you know a woman and she's a Democrat voter, somehow she needs to figure out she is being manipulated. All right, let's see here. Poopa Chalupa writes, the Democrats and January 6th committee isn't a shot in the dark. They're evil. not stupid. January 6th is more than a smear campaign. They intend to prosecute Trump. 100% true. Poopa Chalupa, I wish you had a less goofy name, because that is a very serious statement that you just made and is absolutely right. January 6th is the whole point of January 6th is political theater that's intended to stop Trump from running in 2024. That's what they're trying to do. There's no other purpose for it, because as I said earlier in the video, there is a specific law called incitement of insurrection. If you can convict Trump on that, there is a specific consequence to breaking the law of incitement of insurrection, and that consequence is you can never run for president of the United States of America. It's written into the law. That's why they chose that to go after Trump with. John Phoenix writes, if people rose up, what side would you be on? It sounds like you would leave those people high and dry. Change only works if we all get on it. John Phoenix, I would absolutely not leave those people high and dry, but I'm not going to say what I would do in such a scenario. Let's see here. Frank James just gave me a little bit of money. Thank you, Frank James. You didn't write anything. Okay. Thank you, man. Sorry, I'm not at the bottom yet. I'm trying to... This thing sometimes has a little bit of a delay when I'm scrolling through here, so... Okay. We've got another $10 super chat from Liam Napoleon. This is a new guy here. I haven't spoken to you, I don't think, ever. He writes, Klaus Schwab owns them all. This is our fault. We're all talk and no action. Trump will be equal to Jesus by 2024 with this psyops going on against us. I think what he means is he's going to be crucified. He'll be killed by 2024 with this psyops going on against us. There are psyops going on against us. That is not even speculation. I believe at this point that's proven fact. Thank you, Liam Napoleon. You're absolutely right about Klaus Schwab. The thing about Klaus Schwab is I do think he's sinister. I do think his ideas are incredibly dangerous. I don't know how much effect he's had compared to some of the other dangerous players in the deep state. You know, you've got, I just did a couple of videos on BlackRock. If you guys haven't seen those videos, I highly recommend watching those videos. BlackRock has massive influence over the Biden administration, and they have essentially, because they've invested in a lot of green energy stuff. I know they're heavily invested in fossil fuels as well, but it doesn't really matter if their fossil fuel investments are reduced, because if their green energy investments improve, I mean, if these ideas are adopted by the federal government, their green energy investments could improve 40 times or something like that, you know? And they're invested with billions of dollars. So if you have billions of dollars invested in a particular, you know, group of businesses, and those group of businesses get legitimized by the American federal government, and they grow 40 times, well, you've got, you know, hundreds of billions of dollars potentially that you've just made. So I think that, you know, they have this huge incentive to influence the federal government, and I think that is incredibly dangerous. And if you want to know what the deep state is, you know, watch that video, because it's basically BlackRock, Vanguard, and those kind of guys just basically manipulating the Biden administration, telling them what they want, the Biden administration going, okay, whatever you say there, deep state, we're good. Just, you know, give me some kickbacks. And also, if you wonder why all these companies are suddenly going so woke, that has to do with something called ESG, environmental social governance scores, and that's something that was pushed again by BlackRock. BlackRock basically told all these companies, you know, they're the largest asset manager on earth, but I think it's like $9 or $10 trillion or something crazy like that. And they came out a few years back in 2020. They went, you need a high ESG score if we're going to invest in you. And every corporation on earth went, we love gay people. Look at our pride flag logo. They just all fell in line instantly. BlackRock is scary powerful. Sorry, I'm still scrolling here. Okay, there we go. Okay. Crusader General gave me $20. Thank you, Crusader General. Writes, there was never a time in history where the people voted themselves out of tyranny. Tyranny. I don't know why I keep saying tyranny. Out of tyranny. Jeez, man. Yeah, these are very frustrating times, and more or less, I think that you're right. Kevin's Corner writes, if Trump gets back in, he must clean house completely. 100%. The first time he went in, I don't think that he was really prepared to drain the swamp in the way that he wanted to, because he just didn't know, exactly where to cut the cancer out. I think he's got a much better idea now. I think he's much more dangerous to the swamp than he was the first time. Let's see here. Angel Vasquez gave me $10. Thank you, Angel. Writes, how scared is the deep state of Donald J. Trump? Watch what's going to get exposed very soon. Ukraine/Hunter Biden. Yeah, I mean, that's what it comes down to. This guy's 100% right. The reason this is happening is because the deep state is absolutely terrified of Donald Trump. They know that Donald Trump can't be bought and can't be leveraged, can't be blackmailed. And so they don't own him. That's the problem. They own Joe Biden. They just move the hand, and Joe Biden does what they tell him to. Let's see here. Tom Christopoulos writes, Trump is clearly the front runner in the Republican Party, and a recent poll shows he beats Biden in the general. That was actually just a CPAC, but I've actually talked to some other people. I mean, of course he's going to beat Biden, but I've talked to a lot of people who want DeSantis in. I don't agree with that. I think Trump deserves another 4 years, and I think that he is the best person for the job. He's been there already. He knows how to take everybody out that needs to be taken out. Taken out of office, not killed. That's not what I meant. He knows how to drain the swamp. I think he knows how to drain the swamp better than anybody. Sorry, I didn't finish this super chat. Do you think Biden signed off on his action? Oh, on this action, on the raid. And the CNN van comment was in reference to Mr. Stone's case. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, I suspected that it was a reference to that. I wasn't sure. Thanks, man. Do you think Biden signed off on this action? I do probably, it's very likely that Biden never heard about it. Or if he did, he was just told this is happening. I think we all are aware that Biden doesn't have any actual control over his administration. Biden just goes along with what people tell him to do. Well, am I going over here? No, I'm going over there. Okay. Nah. The guy's gone. He's too old to know what he's doing. He's senile. He's done. Kevin's Corner, I don't know how you got that little white box around your name, but it does draw me to your comments. Let's see here. Kevin writes, yes, the BlackRock video was great. I did a live show on your BlackRock video. Everybody needs to check out your BlackRock video. Kevin's Corner, thanks, man. I don't know who you are. I'm gonna remember you, actually. I'm gonna look up your YouTube channel. If you did a live stream, then you're a YouTuber, right? So, all right, Kevin's Corner. He seems like a good guy, so maybe subscribe to Kevin's Corner, guys. If you like conservative content, he seems all right. So you're written down in my phone. I'm gonna look you up, man. All right, let's see here. Frank James writes, "Where's the wife?" She's somewhere. I don't know. She's not home today. She's working. Let's see here. Let's see. Goddess of Truth has given me $10 super chat. She's written, here's the phone number for the FBI. Call them and order them to arrest the Democrats. The phone is literally call FBI and is an 800 number. Cannot send this any other way. Okay, so I guess it's 1-800-CALL-FBI. So if everybody here calls the FBI and complains about this raid and tell them they're a bunch of asshats, I think that would be positive. I'm not saying you have to, but let's try it. Why not? I am calling the FBI. We'll see how this works. Let's see.
Hello. Thank you for calling the FBI.
It's a little sexy. Hello. Welcome to the FBI.
Si usted desea escuchar este mensaje en español, por favor oprima el número 1.
No speak español.
You will be connected to an operator. This call is recorded for quality assurance, investigative, or other purposes. If you do not wish to be recorded, please press 1 to learn how to submit a tip online. After the instructions are provided, your call will be disconnected. Some states have passed red flag laws that restrict individuals from having firearms based on the belief they are a danger to themselves or others. Your local law enforcement agency may have more
Liam Napoleon gave me $5. He writes, "Will Mr. Pagan be making a live stream?"
During this call, you will be asked to provide
I've considered it.
information about yourself and or the persons about whom you are calling.
Pupa Chalupa writes, "Trump firing and replacing everyone in the government is a short-term fix. The government has grown beyond its bounds and needs to be scaled back to basics." It's a good point. It's an interesting perspective. I may agree with you a little bit, but I think we have to try, though. I have to.
On an FBI case currently highlighted in the news, press 1.
White man bad writes, "I know Christianity is the real religion due to the hate it has against it.
Press 2. To report suspicious email,
I know Trump is good for the same reason. Jesus is the only one to face such heat." White man bad, I agree with you.
fraud, identity theft, or unfair or fraudulent business practices, press 5. If you are calling about any other
Zarkasmo gave me $5. Thank you, Zarkasmo.
please press the pound.
Waiting for an operator here. We'll see if I can talk to somebody and complain. And you can all do this. 800 call FBI. We're going to call the FBI and we're going to ask them what the hell is going on at Mar-a-Lago and why are they
Email, hacked email, internet scams.
acting on the instructions of an authoritarian regime who's going after their political opponents using guns. Zarkasmo did get through what he wanted to say. He writes, "You thought January 6th was big. Double that number in front of White House in the near future."
To repeat this menu,
Yeah, maybe. That might be true. Okay, Jeff Griffin writes, "Mr. Reagan, good to see you. Do you suppose this may have an undesired effect of motivating 80 million plus patriots?" Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, just so long as there is no evidence planted at Mar-a-Lago and Trump isn't caught up in something where he's actually not able to run for president, which I think is their plan, yeah, there's certainly going to be a reaction against this.
5. If you are calling about any other issue, press
I love you guys' comments, by the way. You guys, I love it all. I love the passion. I love the intelligence. Tom Christopoulos writes, "Kevin's Corner is great. Okay, I'm out of money."
the area you were calling from now.
90014.
I'm sorry, we did not get your response.
90014.
Provide the zip code of the area you are calling from now.
I gave them my zip code.
One moment while I transfer you to the next available representative. Your call will now be recorded.
Okay, the FBI is going to record my call.
Your expected wait time is less than 60 minutes.
Oh, only 60 minutes, 60. Well, that is No, I don't want to do that. I want to yell at somebody. Okay, so it's possible that a lot of people are calling the FBI right now, and I have a bit of a wait. Oh. The FBI has some beautiful hold music, ladies and gentlemen. They better be overwhelmed. Those like fuck hats. Sorry, I apologize for the swearing. This is FBI pissing Mr. Reagan off. That was from Wattster 47. Yes, they are pissing me off. Don't you love hold music? It's amazing, isn't it? America, fuck yeah, writes. Sorry, I shouldn't be swearing, but he writes, "Don't do yourself, dude." I'm not going to do myself. I'm just going to very calmly express my frustration that they have just raided Trump's house.
Press 1 to learn how to submit a tip online.
That does not help me.
Instructions are provided. Your call will be disconnected.
Sean Young writes, "I subscribe to Kevin's Corner, going to look into the channel after this live session." Yeah, I'm going to as well. Let's see here. Do we have somebody? Nope. And Don, Don Brady writes, cue the jazz music. How dare you writes, FBI equals KGB. That is true. There are comments being held for review. Jamie Fish writes, if the FBI is watching this, I like boobies. I like boobies. I like boobies. I'll make them read that during the trial. Okay, let's see here. Some guy named Patriot just gave me $1. Thanks, Patriot. Isle Paint writes, Trump is awesome. We don't elect a lover. We elect somebody to do the most important job. Trump did it better than anyone in my lifetime. Trump's personality has nothing to do with it. Job performance. You know, it's funny. I actually kind of convinced a guy not to hate Trump a little while ago at a party. Democrat guy, hated Trump. And I said, I got the FBI on hold here if you're just jumping in. And I basically just went through and I said, would you tell an ugly person that you refuse to work with them because they're ugly? And the guy said, no, of course not. This is ridiculous. And I said, well, that's your problem with Trump. The way Trump speaks is ugly, right? You don't like his rhetoric. So you don't want to vote for him. You think he's a bad person. You got to separate the ugly rhetoric from whether he's good or evil, or, which is, they think he's evil, obviously, or whether he's an effective president, because he was a really effective president. And he starts thinking about it, and he was like, yeah, I mean, you're kind of right. I do think he's ugly, and I do kind of have this irrational hatred for him. So I didn't turn around completely, but I did make him think, and I think that's actually a fairly good argument. Oscar Valdivia writes, well, at least the FBI hold is not as long as the 911 calls. I know, yeah, really, for real. That's a sad state of affairs in many places in America, Democrat-run cities. Goddess of Truth writes, 60-minute hold time for the FBI. Yep, that's right. That's what we're doing right now. Admin writes, Mr. Reagan lost weight. That's true. I'm actually going to make some videos about that because I got fat doing this show. And it was very unpleasant. And there's a few reasons why I think it's kind of your patriotic duty to be fit. One, you do not want to be controlled by the pharmaceutical companies. And two, I also think there's a kind of a Christian reason to be relatively fit. I think that we need to have some kind of sense of gratitude for this body that we're given. And so we need to take care of it. And but let me tell you, when you get a bit fat, when you're doing a job like what I'm doing and you're sitting all the time and you want to get fit again, it is tough. If you're out there and you're obese and you're like, I'm struggling with it, I understand, guys. I mean, it's hard to lose weight, but I got some tricks. Mr. Reagan's got tricks. So I'm going to do some videos on that and try to help everybody with that aspect as well. The channel's not going to become a fitness channel, but I'm going to do a couple of videos on that. Travis Dove, give me $5. Thank you, Travis. Hold on one second. Oh, S. Draper 2011 said that I look amazing. Great job on the weight loss. Thank you, man. All right, let's see here. Andrea Viola said, they're trying to start a civil war. This is a communist takeover. I would love to see Trump/Bannon just for the revenge. Like Bannon vice president. That would be pretty funny. Just the revenge. We did this to ourselves. Yeah, I mean, Andrea, I very much agree with you here. Okay, Liam Napoleon writes, FBI, hello. Is your current income greater than Nancy Pelosi's latest insider trading trade? Mr. Reagan, no. FBI, oh, you're doing a little sketch here. Okay, so the FBI calls and they say, hello, is your current income greater than the Nancy Pelosi's latest insider trading trade? And then I respond, no. And the FBI responds, peasants, keep in their place. Basically, they're not interested in hearing from you unless you're wealthy. That's probably true. Let's see here. Yeah, I feel like everybody knows who Kevin's Corner is, and I'm like the only one that doesn't know. And now I feel like kind of like a Moments Divine writes, did I do keto? Yes, I did do keto. I don't think keto's right for everybody, but it's certainly right for me. What just happened? Okay, I thought maybe they said I had to do something. All right, John Phoenix. See the FBI flag list? Can't have a Gadsden flag. Oh, really? I don't know what a Gadsden flag is. I'm going to look that up. Sorry, I'm not that patriotic, unfortunately. I mean, I am, but Gadsden flag. Oh, yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so you can't have the "Don't Tread on Me" flag. Is that really considered to be like a warning sign? Like, oh, this person's probably a domestic terrorist or whatever. That's messed up. All right. Somebody wrote R.I.P. MAGA. I wouldn't consider the MAGA movement dead just yet. Brad Lane gave me $20, and there's a little like GIF of a hippopotamus with like a robotic arm, and it says OP on it. I don't know what that means. Maybe you guys understand that.
After the instructions are provided, your call will be disconnected.
They keep saying my call is going to be... I didn't hear what they said at the beginning, but they keep saying my call. I don't want my call to be disconnected. Don't do that. I want to yell at somebody. And look, there are good agents in the FBI. Like, I've spoken with former agents of the FBI, like local guys, and they're all right. And I'm also friends with a lot of people who have gotten a knock on the door from the FBI, and because of January 6th. And a lot of my friends who have had that experience have said, look, some of these folks at the FBI, they clearly don't want to be doing what they're doing, Spectre 50 gave me 99 cents, but then retracted the message. I don't know why. Okay. Yeah, so if you're just tuning in, we're on hold with the FBI. I want to ask them what's going on, complain a little bit, and tell them what for, as we say. I also want to hear from you guys.
After the instructions are provided, your call will be disconnected.
That's what they're saying. So they're saying if I want to submit the tip online, I just push a button and they'll tell me how to do that, and then they're going to hang up on me. I don't want you to hang up on me. I want you to answer my call. They said it's going to be a 60-minute, 60 wait to talk to an FBI. I don't know if that's true. They said up to 60 minutes, so we'll see. I guess everybody's calling the FBI going, what the F are you doing in Florida? Sorry, I got sidetracked. I don't know what I was saying here. Anyway, I want to hear from you guys. If you guys have ideas, I'm trying to find some of this conversation is just sort of jibber jabber. Let's see here. Crusher says, "Don't just tell them you are married to a." Okay. Yeah, I'll try to avoid telling them I'm married to a Russian. Yeah. Let's see here. So Nathan Simpson Sr. writes, "What happens if they arrest Trump?" Well, so I've mentioned this many times throughout this video, a couple times in this video. This is about the worst thing that I could imagine happening to our republic, except if Trump was taken to a black site, that would be worse, or if Trump was killed, that would be worse. Trump being arrested, in my mind, equivalent to take him to a black site. Like, yeah, if he's arrested and booked, I feel like democracy is dead. The republic is done. You do not just arrest your political opponents because you don't like them. Obviously, that happened to Dinesh D'Souza. That has happened to some of Donald Trump's colleagues. Some of the main Trump guys. Obviously, Bannon got in trouble for some wall stuff. I don't even really know what that was all about. But you guys can't. Some of this stuff I can't read because I want to read everything you guys are writing here, but I can't read some of this stuff. Stop saying certain things that I cannot read. I don't want this to be like. Let's see here. Oh yeah, let's see here. Pastafarius writes, "Law enforcement agents, they may not want to do it, but they're still doing it." Oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Thanks, man. No. Yeah, a lot of these agents are decent guys, and they're sort of essentially forced to go interrogate January 6th protesters. I don't know what to do about that situation. I do think that there is some responsibility that people within the FBI need to stand up against the administration there, but I don't know what good that would do. I think they'd just get fired. So that's a tough call. I mean, I kind of understand the concept of, but they're still doing it anyway. I don't know if I would, like, whenever somebody in Hollywood says, do I tell people that I'm a conservative? I say, hell no, you do not tell them it's conservative, because you'll just never work in Hollywood again. And then what good are you? You know, you do have to sort of like just stay under the radar. There is some having the integrity to stand up for what you believe, despite the fact that there's personal consequences to you. I think that that's very noble and it's a very good thing to do. However, when you are in a position to make some kind of changes and you risk all that by being axed from a particular industry or something like that, it's not worth it. We need people in Hollywood who are conservatives secretly. You know, we need good people in the FBI. So if you're a good person in the FBI, don't come out against it openly, against all this corruption openly, because you'll just be gone, and then we won't have you in there. You know, so we need some of these people to not stand up for what they believe in, because we need them in there still. That's what I think, anyway. Let's see here. Spectralon writes, the FBI got big dick energy today. I don't know why that made me laugh so much. I think that's kind of a compliment. I don't think we should be complimenting the FBI here. Yeah, I'm not really sure. Look, if I were a Democrat, if I were a corrupt Democrat, and I were sending the FBI into Mar-a-Lago today, I would not be sending them in with anyone who was a good man, who was a good agent. I would be sending in exclusively corrupt agents. So I think that the likelihood... That's hilarious. YouTube just suggested, it says, now would be a good time to insert ads. Creators earn more money inserting ads. The more videos, give it a try. Okay, let's try this. If I cut out and an ad plays, I'm sorry. I don't know what this is. All right, I don't know what just happened. Maybe an ad came on. Okay, I don't know what happened. Anyway, I pushed the button that YouTube told me to push. Okay. So anyway, so I would send in all the corrupt FBI agents. And that's why I think there is such a high level of, high possibility, high chance that some kind of evidence is going to get planted. That this is a frame-up of Donald Trump. They got into his home. I don't know. Something bad is going on here. Whatever's happening at Mar-a-Lago right now is pure corruption. There is no justification for this. We all know it. And I started this live stream basically to hear from you guys. I've heard a lot of people talk, express themselves. A lot of you guys are very passionate. A lot of you guys have very smart things to say. And so far, I've been very, very impressed. I am tempted to end the live stream here, but I really, really, really want to get on with the FBI. Oh, there we go. Okay.
FBI, can I get your first name with the correct spelling?
Yeah, Christopher, Christopher.
Was that Christopher?
Yeah.
Okay, and can I get a last name?
Listen, I'm just trying to figure out what the hell is going on in Florida. The FBI raided the former president's house.
Okay, sir. Well, I'm going to stop you there.
No. Do not stop me. Do not stop me, because you're taking orders from an authoritarian dictatorship at the White House.
All right, sir. I'm ending this call.
No, you are not ending the call. Oh, for fuck's sake. Sorry, I apologize for the swearing. That did not go well. The FBI just hung up on me when I was asking them what the hell was going on at Mar-a-Lago. They would not respond. They hung up the phone. Totally disrespectful. I will say that my tone of voice was disrespectful, but they deserved that. Okay. I am not happy about how that went. You work for me, woman. You do not hang up the phone on the people that you work for. You do not go into the former president's home and raid his home with no reason because an authoritarian dictatorship has decided that they are going to rule America and go after their political opponents. Oh, fuck. All right. Anyway, that's what happened. That's what happened. You guys saw what happened. So, a lot of people are writing things that YouTube is hiding right now. I don't usually, I've never seen this before. There's a lot of hidden responses. Listen, guys, I think I'm going to end this here. Liam Napoleon writes, look at YouTube channel, audit the audit, lackluster, and others to see what unlawful actions have been taken by public officials. Audit the audit, and a video called lackluster. I'm trying to read some super chats here. Liam Napoleon says, I respectfully disagree. We need people to uphold their oath to the Constitution and to challenge all unlawful orders. You know, you and I are on the same page there. I just think that we do need good people in the FBI, and we don't need them all to be, you know, fired, essentially. Let's see here. FJB, I agree. Jeff Griffin wrote, we need the Gipper to kick the White House saloon doors open. Ronnie's back, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed. I'm genuinely pissed. You can see that I'm genuinely pissed. Let's see here. Toro Nicodemus writes, now you have been moved up on the list you were already on. Yeah, I'm for sure on some kind of a list. Let's see here. I think that's all the super chats, guys. Somebody wrote DeSantis is a psyop. I don't think that's actually true. I think DeSantis is a good guy. All right, guys. That's going to have to do it. Unless you guys have something else to say, I'm going to end the live stream. I did get a hold of the FBI. They did hang up on me. I'm not thrilled about it. Okay, Ian Hall writes, the ATF is corrupt. There are more as well. Snowden warned us. Snowden did warn us. I don't love Snowden as a guy, but I do think that he did, what he did was somewhat heroic, actually. I don't know if he intended it for it to be heroic, but Winter's Brother Stories says good night. Let's see here. Crusher. Next week on Mr. Reagan. Well, I've been put on a no-fly list. It's not out of the realm of possibilities. I think I'll be all right. It's a bit of fun, but Mike Tag says, good job, Mr. Reagan. Call wasn't going to go any other way, says Ozymandias. Yeah, I was expecting that, but I did want to talk a little bit longer. I felt like, she should have allowed me to rant a little bit. Sean Young writes, God bless to all. Thank you, Sean. That's very, very kind. So Eric Ramsey gives the number again, 1-800-CALL-FBI. If you guys want to call the FBI and do what I did, and maybe annoy them a little bit, feel free. I think it's a good idea. I'm not in the business of encouraging people to harass anyone, even the FBI, but in this case, there is a serious problem going on right now. This is corruption. I believe that they are going to plant evidence in Mar-a-Lago and they're going to frame Donald Trump for something. That's what I think is going to happen. I certainly hope that I'm wrong. But that's speculation. That's what I think is going to happen. Spectralon says, when's the next video coming out? Tomorrow morning, there is going to be a video coming out. I was going to put, it seems kind of irrelevant now, though. I have two videos on Hollywood stuff, and then I have another video on Trump's decision to sue everybody who's called his accusations of fraud in the 2020 election the big lie. It almost seems like none of that matters anymore. Woods Precision Arms, who I assume there's a website called Woods Precision Arms. So if you want guns, maybe check that guy's website out. He says, we haven't seen anything yet. Why do you think they employ so many IRS agents to hassle conservative donors and advocates, period? I was just thinking about that today. I was thinking, who neglects to pay taxes? It's probably mostly Democrats. And yet the Democrats are trying to, fill out the IRS with a gazillion employees to audit everybody. And it's like, they're probably going to find that it's mostly Democrats skipping out on their taxes. But of course, they're only going to probably hire leftists and instruct them to specifically go after conservatives, which is what they did under the Obama administration. Okay, I'm starting to be able to not speak, so I'm definitely going to end it here unless somebody else has something else they want to say. You guys were awesome. I loved hearing what you guys had to say about this, and it's funny. I actually reacted probably a little bit too angrily to getting hung up on. I did know I was going to get hung up on. I mean, I expected that, but I probably shouldn't take that so seriously. But I'm just really pissed off right now. Like you do not go after a political opponent, especially a presidential candidate for 2024. Upcoming, for this kind of political shenanigans. This is the most corrupt thing I have ever seen. This is worse than impeaching Trump twice. This is worse than spying on his campaign. This is the most corrupt thing I have ever seen in American politics ever. Watergate is nothing compared to this. I don't know, everybody always compares things to Watergate. This is worse than Watergate. This is nuts. All right, well, I'm glad you guys are as pissed off as I am. I'm glad that you guys are I was very happy to read all your comments. I'm going to end this here, and just remember, it's not that our liberal friends are ignorant. It's just they know so much that is not so. And they hang up on you when you complain to them about being corrupt. Unbelievable. All right, guys. Good night.